What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. More Week 13 Rivalry Week preview predictions on the slate today. And we're going to be talking about a rivalry that is as old as time in the Bluegrass State. It's the Kentucky Wildcats going on the road to face a sneaky college football playoff contender in the Louisville Cardinals. I guess not co-ACC champs, but they are in the ACC championship game, and a lot riding on the line for them here. In this one, we're going to preview everything Wildcats and Cardinals in this video. Before we do that, happy Turkey Day to those of you that celebrate out there. Happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're watching some good football, having fun with the family. Thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video. And if you want to support the channel in more ways than just watching this video, which is a huge way, you can do a lot more. Hitting the subscribe button, ringing the bell is a huge way to help support me. But you guys can also like, comment, share, and anything else that you guys may be willing and or able to do to help me support what I do here on YouTube. But that's enough about me. And with all that out of the way, let's dive on into this matchup between the Kentucky Wildcats and the Louisville Cardinals. This is the big game for Louisville, especially because of the fact that Louisville is this close to trying to state their case to get into the college football playoff. Do they need some chaos to happen? Yes, but this is not a game that you can afford to overlook, especially because Kentucky has been a team that has had a lot of good things happen for them this season, and also they've been dominating this rivalry as of late. But let's dive on into my official preview prediction. We're going to start by looking at the stats that both these teams have put up so far this season, and we are going to start with the road team this year. That is the Kentucky Wildcats, currently a bowl-eligible team. They're sitting at 6-5. All they can do here in this one is boost their overall record to 7-5 and spoil the Cardinals' college football playoff hopeful season. With a win here, it'd be the first time we've really seen chaos if they were able to pull it out. But Devin Leary has been the guy at quarterback for Kentucky this year. The former NC State transfer is 2,234 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 9 picks. Him, alongside his offensive line, have had a lot of inconsistencies this year. In fact, this is a Kentucky offense that, as a whole, just has had a lot of inconsistencies throughout the entire season. Now, has there been moments where Devin Leary has looked really, really good? Yes, there have been moments where Devin Leary looks elite. He looks really, really good. And then there are moments where he doesn't. There are also moments where the running back room really gets going, and you think to one name, Ray Davis. The Vanderbilt transfer has had some big performances this year, and then he's had performances where he's basically been a non-factor for this team. This is the Kentucky offense that, especially with the way Louisville's defense has been playing throughout the entirety of this season, has to find a rhythm, has to get going, has to be a little bit more efficient on third down. And the number one thing, can't turn the football over. 9 interceptions from Devin Leary, as mentioned earlier, but then also 6 fumbles from this team. Turnovers have really hurt Kentucky at moments so far this season, but the defense has been really, really good for the most part this year. Yes, they're allowing similar numbers of points, and yes, their defense is technically allowing more yards than they're gaining. The defense has been a strong suit of Kentucky all season long. Sure, they could be a little bit more efficient on third down, but they are forcing turnovers, a pretty fair amount of them so far this season. 25 sacks is a really solid number, and the rush defense has been really, really good. There's only been one team that has been able to rush. I believe it's for over 185, somewhere around that number on this Kentucky defense, and that's Tennessee. Bama couldn't do it. Georgia didn't do it, and that's going to be a huge key for Kentucky here. If they're going to be able to win this game, you got to keep up that really good run defense that has been there for throughout most of this season. So we'll dive on into that later when we get to my what to watch for, aka your keys to the game. But let's dive into talking about things here for the Louisville Cardinals. Offensively, there were some turnover problems early, especially from the quarterback play, Jack Plummer throwing picks, but he has since cleaned those up, and this is the Louisville offense that is just clicking. It is humming on every single cylinder you can imagine right now. Plummer on the season, 2,710 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 10 picks. Again, those 10 picks. Sure, he still has moments where he'll make a mistake, but they're not as rampant as they were earlier on this season. And the rush game is really, back to the pass game and the play of Jack Plummer, has a lot of very good weapons out there. Jamari Thrash, of course, is the big name. Chris Bell, Coleman, Higgins, Bruce, so many other great names out there. But the names that you really want to pay attention to are in this running back room, especially with Jawar Jordan. 6.7 yards per carry, is a 1,000-yard rusher this year, has 11 touchdowns, and then a former Wisconsin Badger in Isaac Guerrero, 585 yards, 6.4 yards per carry, and 8 touchdowns for him this season. So the rushing attack of Louisville versus the rush defense of Kentucky. Again, what number did I say? 180 to 185. That's kind of been the magic number for Kentucky this year. They've held only, besides one opponent, that being the Tennessee Volunteers, to under that total. That's the number that Louisville is averaging so far this season. The rush defense, the run game, whoever can win the battle in the trenches when Louisville has the ball is going to get a huge leg up here in this game. But Louisville, sure, they could be more efficient on third down. Sure, you could limit the turnovers a little bit better, even though that's what Jack Plummer has done. And sure, the offensive line has inconsistencies. But much like Kentucky, the defense is playing really, really well for Louisville right now. And yes, it got carved up against Miami. And yes, it has had its struggles at points this season. However, this is a Louisville defense that, when you take a look at it top to bottom, has been really, really good so far this season, especially in that rush defense category, right? And the pass rush wasn't really there at the start of the season. It has really started to find its rhythms. Ashton Jalot, I believe I'm saying that last name right. If not, though, I sincerely apologize. But Ashton Jalot is running, or I should say, is getting a whole lot of pressure for this Louisville team. Really, really good stuff happening there from him. But let's go ahead and take a dive now into your what to watch for. These are your keys to the game, whatever you want to call it. Some things I think you should keep an eye on while you're paying attention to this one. For starters, let's start out with the Kentucky Wildcats. Ray Davis is going to need to be limited, or not limited. Well, yes, if you are Louisville, you want to limit him. But for Kentucky, he needs to have a really, really big game here. Why? Well, it goes back to that battle of the trenches thing, right? Both these offensive lines have had some inconsistencies, yes. However, based on the sheer raw talent that Jawar Jordan, Isaac Guerrero present for this Louisville team, they've been able to run it really, really well. However, for the Kentucky Wildcats, Ray Davis is going to need to have an absolutely massive game here. He is going to need to really take it to this Louisville defense, especially with the inconsistencies that Devin Leary has had so far this season. I think Ray Davis is going to need to come out here. If Kentucky's going to want to win, he's going to need to show out like he has earlier this year in that, 290-yard performance that he had earlier on this season. Believe that was against the Florida Gators. Offensively as well, you need to limit the turnovers and give Devin Leary time. Devin Leary cannot be throwing picks. This is a Louisville defense, yes, that has been a little shaky over the past couple of weeks, but you really should expect this Louisville defense to turn it around, to play a whole lot better. But this is a Kentucky team that has had some inconsistency problems on the offensive line, and they're not only going to need to be fixed for Ray Davis to have a good game, they're also going to need to be fixed in order for Devin Leary to have a good game of his own, right? But you also need to limit the turnovers. That means Devin Leary can't throw picks, and this is a running back room as well as a wide receiver room that has a lot of talented weapons. Can't fumble the football there either. The Wildcat run defense, as I've talked about in this video, is going to be a huge factor in slowing the Louisville Cardinals down. This is a really, really good 1-2 punch in the running back room for Louisville, but this is a Kentucky run defense that, for the most part this season, has been really, really stout. So we'll see again which side plays out, but I'm very curious to see that matchup. I'm very curious to see if Kentucky is going to be able to slow down this Louisville rush attack, or if the Louisville rush attack is going to be able to really ramp it up on this Kentucky run defense. That's going to be a huge factor to watch. But let's move on over to the top 10 side in the Louisville Cardinals. Plummer has cut back on the picks, and they have helped this offense tremendously. This offense, we know they're going to run the ball. We know that Guerrero and Jordan are going to have their big runs. The main thing with this offense, and it's not that Jack Plummer can't sling it. He's a very, very talented quarterback with a fairly strong arm. The thing that has plagued him this year has been those picks. He's cut back on those, and because of that, this is an offense that is moving. It is moving really, really well. It is moving very efficiently, and even if the defense, much like last week, isn't playing their best game, the offense has enough juice, has enough efficiency to be able to move the ball down the field. Jack Plummer cutting back on those picks has really, really helped Louisville, and I believe the offense is playing the best that it has so far this season. A little foreshadowing into my prediction there, but the defense will play better than last week. This is also sort of foreshadowing, and it will take control. I do think Kentucky's going to have their moments. I think early on, Kentucky's going to make this one a battle, and maybe Devin Leary has a couple of shots. Maybe Ray Davis has a quick 100-yard first half there, and it gets Louisville on their heels. But the defense has been good enough this year to be able to slow down whatever Kentucky's going to be able to throw at it with the secondary stepping up, or again with the rush defense that has been so good all throughout this season, and especially that pass rush I think is really going to ramp up as this game goes along, and it will help Louisville out greatly. Louisville is also going to control the clock. That has been a huge issue for the Kentucky Wildcat offense. It's a huge reason why they are on this sort of losing 4 out of their last 5 games. Now, still a bowl-eligible team, mind you, but controlling the clock has not been a strong suit of theirs by any stretch of a mile. Louisville is the favorite here in this game, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. Again, I do like Kentucky to keep this game close early, and I think the Wildcats and Devin Leary and Ray Davis are going to hit some shots, and they're going to make this one a battle for Louisville, but I do think the Cards have a big second half. I think their defense steps up. They're going to be able to get pressure back to Devin Leary, and Louisville stands up. They stay alive in the race to get into the college football playoff. I think they'll come away with a double-digit win here. 28-17 is the way I see this game playing out. Again, Kentucky, I think they'll hit a couple of big plays in the first half. Maybe they'll go up 14-7 at halftime, but the Louisville offense, I think, is too talented. Jawar Jordan is going to have his moments, and this is the Louisville defense that I expect to play much, much better than they did last week, and it's going to lead to the Cardinals coming away with the win. Again, happy Thanksgiving to those of you that celebrate. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.